Hi guys, this video is to show you how Autocrat works. It's going to be pretty quick, but you can always pause the video and go back and rewind if you need to. So the idea of Autocrat is that it creates a merge situation between a Google form and information you're gathering and some sort of a document that you want to create from that. And it could just be you're creating a hard copy of someone's responses to the form. We do that sometimes with walkthroughs. Or you could create something like a certificate like the one on your screen, where the students' names get automatically added in and the date gets automatically added in and so forth. So that's the kind of thing that we're working on. So step one is you need to create your output document, whatever you want this to create. So some examples. Here's the certificate that you just saw. This one was in Google Slides. There are two ways that you can make an output document, either in Slides or in Docs. So this would be an example of a slide, and then here's an example of a doc where I created a template, and then I'm going to use that to merge with information I'm gathering from the staff to create sheets that I can put up on our website. So you'll notice that there are all these funny looking things in here, and these are called tags. Now you can write anything you want to in the tag. It just needs to probably be something that's going to remind you what piece of information you want to put there. Okay, so first name, last name, the course, the email address. And then our next step is going to be, and actually in about 2 steps, we're going to create a form. We are going to want to make sure that we add questions to gather all of this information. So we're going to have to ask, what is your first name? What is your last name? And these all have to be separate questions on our form. Okay? So the reason I said this wasn't the very next step is because the next step is you need to create a file where all of these things are going to live. So for example, I have a file called completion certificates here. And that's where I'm going to put all of my final merged documents so that I have them all in one place. So that's important. So step 1 is to create the actual merge document. Step 2 is to create your destination folder where everything's going to land. Step 3 is to make the form. Now remember, like I said, you want to make sure that you get all of the information that you need. You have to get their email address. If you want to share it with them, you have to have their email address. So don't forget that. On a form, you can go up here to the settings wheel, the little cog, and check the box that says collect email addresses. That's the most efficient way to get somebody's email address on a form. It keeps us from having mistakes where people mistype it and so forth. So grab their email address. Ask any other questions you need to on the form. You do not have to limit this to just things that are going to be merged. In fact, on this particular form, I also asked some questions that helped me name the final products. I asked them who their teacher is. I asked them about their class period. Then I did ask them about the names of the people in their group. I did not have to ask them the date because every form that's submitted is always date and time stamped. So I don't need to ask them that question. It's the only one I don't have to ask. So I've got all that. Once you get your form created, then you need to go to the Responses tab, and you need to click on the little green icon to open the spreadsheet version of the responses. Now, at this point, your responses are probably blank, which is fine. Okay, the next step is we're going to run an add-on here in Sheets. So if you don't have the add-on Autocrat, you need to go get it. And to get the add-on, you simply click on the word add-ons and choose Get Add-ons from the menu. Okay, it'll take you to a pop-up window and you can search for Autocrat, Autocrat, to do that. Okay, so that's right here. Once you have it, you're going to launch it. Now mine says open because I've already run it in the spreadsheet before. Yours will say launch. So you'll launch Autocrat, and when there's no jobs that you've set up yet, it will say new job in the corner, but the rest of that pop-up window is going to be blank. In mine, I've already set up the job, so it's going to tell me. And anytime you have to go back and edit a previous job, you just want to click on the pencil icon that's next to the name of the job. So here you go. If you're creating a brand new job, you'd click the red new job button in the corner. So I'm going to say edit because it takes me through all the same questions, so you'll be able to see exactly what it's like to set this up. So you want to name your job. The name is really irrelevant, doesn't matter at all. You do not want to hit save during this process at all until the very last part of the wizard where you no longer have a next button. Okay? So just FYI. So we're going to click next, and now you're going to choose the template that you use. And this is where you choose your final document, that one that you created that has the tags in it. You're going to choose that right now. So you could go to From Drive, or if you were recently making it, it might show up right here. You're going to go From Drive, and you're going to select that document that you want, which hopefully will pop up. See if I can get it to pop up. There it is. Okay. You select that, and then it might take it just a minute because it's going to fetch the tags and whatever. Okay. And it's going to put it right here. And then we go to next. And now we have to map the data from the form to the tags that we put in our document. That's what's happening here. So here you have the tags that it saw in your document. It's looking for those double carets. Okay. And you want to map it to, and this information comes from your form. So I wanted the date to pull from the timestamp. I wanted the names to be that question in particular. And you'll see it's listing all the other questions, but that's the one that I know reflects the names that I want on the certificate. So you'll go through, you might have just a couple, you might have several of these fields to map. Once you're done, you're going to click next. Now, the next screen here is where you're going to decide what the files look like that are created by this process. So what are the names of the files going to be? Now, if you were to name all of the files just with some standard name like certificate, right? Then every file that's created is going to be called certificate. And you won't be able to tell by looking at the names whose certificate it is, why it was created. So you need a little bit more information than that. So we can use tags in the naming process, and that really makes it nice because that helps identify whose certificate it is. So you can see I used actually several tags in the naming of this one. And you'll see that in this case, these aren't tags that I put like in my little carrots on the merge document. These are coming from what this program is reading from your form. If you click on this blue button, you can see what all the tags are. And so I thought, well, it would be nice to name it with their teacher's name, right? So who is your teacher? So that's the first tag I put in here. And then I thought, well, it'd also be nice for the teacher to be able to look at these and go, oh, this is my class and this is period 3A. So I put the class period question in there as well. And then I put the names of the people. And so that's how it's naming all of these certificates. So if you saw on my certificates, here they are, this is how they came out named. Wilson 2A, Naveen, George, and Nishant PDF. So you can see it's named with the teacher last name, their class period, the student names. And I can tell whose certificate is what because of that. Okay? So that is why I use the tags. Now, if you mess up even as much of as a space in copying these tags, it will not name it correctly. So you will need to test this before you use it for real, because otherwise you're going to get some stuff with funky names. Like when I set this one up, I forgot to do the question mark, and the files came back named, who is your teacher? Because it didn't understand that that wasn't text. It didn't match anything it knew. And this is just a computer. It's only as smart as you are. So then we can choose the output type. We can choose either to output it as Google Slides or a PDF, because this was a Google Slides to begin with in the document. And so I chose, because it was a certificate, no other reason, and those are usually on paper, I chose to make it a PDF. And I want it multiple output mode. That means it's going to make a new certificate every time somebody submits it. It's not just going to make one big document. Okay? Which I could also do. I'm going to hit next. And here's where I'm going to choose my destination folder. Now, it will randomly select a folder probably for you here, and it probably isn't the right one. So, you need to go to Choose Folder and pick the right folder first, which is, in this case, SSC Completion Certificate. So, that one. And then, whichever one was incorrect, you want to go hover over the name with your mouse. That means like you move the cursor over the name, but you don't click anything. And you'll see that the trash can pops up, and delete any folder that you don't want. Okay? So make sure the accurate folder is listed and only that folder. Otherwise, it's going to dump multiple copies for you. Okay. And then we're going to click Next. Again, don't hit Save until we're all done. So we're going to hit Next. This one you can leave blank. We're not going to do that at all. We're just going to click Next. The merge condition, this will not have anything here when you start, so I want you to click the Add Condition button. It will add this automatically, exactly this, and you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to create this yourself. It will pop up, and then you hit Next. And now we decide whether to share the documents and send the emails. And that was the whole purpose of this for me in this exercise. I wanted to share that certificate with the students, and I wanted to send them an email with that certificate. So I said, yes, share the document. I wanted it shared as a PDF. I don't care if they reshare it. I did want it sent from a generic no reply address, because that way the students couldn't reply to me. And then here I have to say where I want it to. And again, I have to use a tag. And this is where, if you didn't have your form collect your email addresses, you would have to shut this down, go add that question to your form, and come back and start this whole process over again. Okay? Again, I can use the blue bar to see exactly what that looks like. And I can see it says email address. That's where I wanted it to go to. It has to be typed exactly. You do have to put a subject line in here, or it will, you will have problems with Autocrat working. It won't complete. Okay, so you do need a subject. You need to have some sort of text that you're sending in the email, and I just say something about I attach the certificate. Okay, and once all that is set up, you hit Next. You do want it to run on a form trigger, so you're going to say yes. It's going to take a minute to think about that, and then it will just stop thinking, and that means it's good to go on. And you'll notice now I have no Next button, and so now I can hit Save, and that will finish my job. Now, every once in a while, for some reason, it doesn't run all by itself the first time. And so you may need to click the play button to run the job, okay? But once you do that once, it does have a form trigger, and what we said was if the timestamp is not empty in this column, that it's going to run. So it knows that we're submitting something. You do want to test this. After you finish this process, go to your form, go to the eyeball view, and fill out the form. Okay, now I'm not going to do this one right now just because I don't know all the answers. It won't let me fill it out unless I have all the correct answers. Okay, but you do want to fill out the form and hit submit, and then you make adjustments as necessary. So it is possible that you did something wrong. It happens to me all the time. Almost every time I do it, I set something up wrong. So don't be afraid of that. Just go back. It's always good practice to do it again. And I hope that helps. Use Autocrat, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Have a great day.